everybody, my name's Blue Lazy Demon. Welcome to the very first conversational piece here on the channel. A kind of a new video series that I've been meaning to kind of start and to try out here on the channel. See, I started out the reviews about 2 months ago. I promise you I got one coming. It's coming Monday, don't worry. It's kind of in the works there. But I wanted to always start this conversational piece where I kind of take a snippet of news or a thought I've had throughout the week and kind of turn it into a video so we can have a conversation left, right, and center. These videos are going to be a little bit more conversational, as you're seeing now, where I kind of go off the rail, no script, no nothing, I just kind of talk. And we kind of go from there. That's kind of my plan, at least for these. These will allow me to, make these videos a little bit quicker, a little bit faster, and kind of have a little more interaction that way. And the goal will be once a week on a Friday, unless there's no topic, then I'll skip a week, all that kind of stuff. But I'm generally going to shoot for one every Friday, and then the reviews will come on Monday. That's kind of the plan, at least for this. So yeah, that's just kind of where we're at. And kind of as the name of the video implies, today we're going to talk about what probably the entire internet is discussing, which is the end of Generation 8, which Generation 8 is the PS4, Xbox One, and technically the Wii U. Sadly, Nintendo's kind of got this, like, dichotomy of being stuck in between generations, and the Switch is technically Generation 9 because it's their 9th generation console, if you actually look at them. I actually kind of blame PS3 and 360 more, because the Wii fell in line with Gen 6, right? And then, oh wait, no, sorry, we're in Gen 8 now. It'd be the end of Gen 9. My bad. So, we're entering Gen 10? Whatever. Let's see, because N64 is Gen 5, GameCube's Gen 6, and then Wii is Gen 7. We're in Gen 8. Yeah, I'm right. Anyways, I'm just doing bad math. So yeah, end of Gen 8. So but the Wii was part of Gen 6 or Gen 7, right? Where it was the 360, PS3, and the Wii, and then the Wii U came out 6 years later because that was actually the typical, life cycle of consoles back then. And it took 2 or 3 years later, or almost a year or two later, for the 360 and the PS3 to come out, or the PS4 and the Xbox One to come out for Generation 8. And that's where we're at now, and that's kind of the discussion. Right now in the news, we're having Kodiyama, I think that's how you say his name. I'm sorry, I'm not good with Japanese names, so I apologize there. But he is saying that the PS4 is officially in the last phase of its life cycle, which is kind of interesting. That's really ambiguous and not really, it's very vague. It's not very well done as a kind of a thought, right? That doesn't mean a whole lot. It's in its last phase. Well, what does that mean? It doesn't mean a whole lot as it is. It's also interesting he said PS4 and not PS4 Pro, right? He didn't lump them together and say PS4 and PS4 Pro. I think that's interesting, and I'll talk about that shortly as kind of a piece. But overall, yeah, so it's entering its last phase, and that's kind of got the internet up in a buzz, right? Here we are, we're sitting here. That means PS5's on the horizon. That's kind of what that kind of means. And the question is, when is that going to come out? Now, I've seen many speculations, even before this rumor, that it was coming out 2018, 2019, and 2020. My kind of thoughts to it are really that 2018 is way too early. If they release it this year, I have no interest in the system. My problem is I still can't believe we're even talking about the end of Gen 8 because it hasn't felt that long. And I kind of blame pieces of that to kind of how the generation started. It was very port heavy and didn't have, a lot of real new games and anything that really showed off its power. And really that causes, kind of a power dichotomy, right? In my head, the first 2 or 3 years are just ports, which I liked, I enjoyed, I love the up-reses, and I love all the better frame rates, but we really didn't have any games for this generation. There was a few that I guess you could call it, but in my opinion, you really didn't see it till about year 2, year 3 when things started, and we're now looking at the end of year 5. So that means we've probably had only like 3 years of this generation's tech and this generation's ideas, right? So to me, it feels way too soon. Yet it's been 5 years, right? So that, and as I said, the typical life cycle is 6 years. So for me, 2019 is where I think they're going to shoot for it, right? I think 2019 realistically is the goal. Personally, I'd rather see 2020. That feels about right for me because if we, do the whole 2-3 year shift that I was talking about, 2020 sits, right on that sweet spot of, okay, now it's been 5-6 years of games that I've been feeling, right? We've been seeing the new tech, all that. I would love just one more wave of really good PS4, and I know The Last of Us 2 is coming out. So that's kind of going that way. Xbox in itself, if we're going to talk about Xbox, I don't see them putting a refresh out until 2020 at least. 2019 is a little soon because they just dropped the One X in 2017, and 2 years later, I think that kind of stabs people. But they're also kind of doing their own thing, and that also kind of leads to some of the more news that kind of came out from the Sony camp, is that apparently they want to end, like the new head of Sony wants Kodama wants to end the kind of like generation cycle, similar to what Phil Spencer and the Xbox team were talking about. So that kind of leads to me. So if it's going to release within the next 3 years, that's going to be that's their last phase in my head, right? It's 3 years. I don't think it'll be, if it's past 2020, I'll be amazed, because with how Ryzen tech is with CPUs, I don't see a point in it. You're not going to get much out of the cost reduction going from the Jaguar architecture over to the Ryzen in like 2021. You won't see many benefits between 2020 and 2021. So I see 2019 and 2020 being the sweet spot for the PS5. I'm going to call it PlayStation 5 because, let's be realistic, it's the most uninspired name, but it works, and I think it's the best thing they should call it. Mainly because of chip costs. Ryzen just came out here in 2017. It gives it 2 years and lets chip prices fall, and allows Sony to make a small amount of profit on the system that they would release in 2019, 2020. I think that's realistically where you're going to see it. People will tell you 2018, 2019. I just can't see it. I just can't accept it in my head that that's when it's going to release. But I also kind of think that it's going to be like the Xbox One X and PS4 Pro. I actually think it's going to be, yes, a change in generational power, but it will play the entire PS4 catalog. To me, this is big. I really want it. I love that with the One X. What Microsoft is doing with the Xbox, that you can go back and play original Xbox games, Xbox One and Xbox 360 games, all on one system, all being uploaded like on a PC, is amazing, and it's something I've wanted on the console space for a really long time, and I'm really hoping Sony finally does it. I'm really irritated that the PS4 doesn't have PS1 and PS2 backwards compatibility, since the PS3 had an emulator that way. I know it has PS2 games, but it's been really slow, and I really wish they'd release some PS1 games that way. But more or less, to me, because the reason why they had such a problem with backwards compatibility going from the PS3 to the PS4 is because the PS3 had the cell architecture, which is a custom CPU and a custom, well, it's not a custom GPU because it's an NVIDIA one, but it was a custom CPU with a custom RAM and GPU pairing, so it was really hard to emulate that. It's an 8-core system, really hard to emulate, realistically. We're just now starting to see it on PC, and it's finally becoming reliable, so it's taken it this long on top-tier CPUs, and they're not going to have top-tier CPUs in a console. It's just not going to happen. But the PS4 is an x86 architecture, which is basically a PC architecture. So if we go from PS4 to PS5, technically they should share that x86 architecture. The architecture should be incredibly similar and should be easy to port over. This will allow then new buyers of PS5 games to see the benefits of PS4 games and all the benefits that kind of came from all the things that happened in this generation. And I really think that's the way we're going to see this Generation 9 is going to be. Realistically, I actually see that also with Nintendo and the Switch. I think they actually are releasing a platform that makes it really easy to upgrade. So all you have to do is swap out that tablet and boom, you have more horsepower. All your old games still work. It's no different than a DS line and how they did the 3DS. I really think that's where we're headed. It makes more sense. I'm really happy we're headed in that direction. It's something that I was hoping for that we would ultimately get to at some point because it just makes sense. To me, I love the PC architecture. Like, I love being in the PC space because I got this back catalog of 30 years that I can play at any time. And yes, I do it from occasion. And I love having that option. Yes, I may not do it all the time, and the numbers will show that only like 5% of people actually do backwards compatibility stuff. But I still do it, like over a long period of time. I want to go back and play those games, or I want to see what's going on in those times. So for me, it's big. I think it's big for the console space and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where I see it. PlayStation 5 to me, I can't see it coming out until 2019, 2020. I'm really hoping for 2020 because that feels more like the sweet spot-ish. I'd be okay if we had 1 or 2 last rounds of really good PS4 games in 2019 and 2020 and have the last few ones come out in 2020 that you can play on your PlayStation 5 and do all that. And one other piece that I wanted to add was that I actually think the PS4 Pro will become the base model for things going forward. Where I was saying that it play PS4 and PS4 Pro games, it will also be base modeled on PS4 Pro. So they're going to try and do a whole system, and it gets confusing, but it really isn't if you think about it. Right now, you have a PS4 and a PS4 Pro. And the idea is that all console makers design to PS4, but then add features for PS4 Pro. In the future, they're going to design for PS4 Pro and have PS5 features. And that's where I think we're going to start going. And then you'll get a PS5 Plus. And then they'll drop PS4 Pro, right? And then you'll have PS5 Pro and PS5. PS5 will drop out. You'll get a PS6, PS5 Pro, and a PS6, and kind of go that way. I really think that's actually where it's going to ultimately go going forward. But yeah, overall, I think 2020 is where I'm hoping for. And I really love to hear what your guys' opinions are on this. Like, I get it. There's some who really want that hard generational gap. It makes sense to me as to why. To me, it seems a little archaic in today's realm, and I think we could be looking more to the PC space. We already did it once. Generation 8 was just borrowing the PC architecture, right, with that x86 and a modern GPU, all that kind of stuff. So I think we could borrow some more, go that way. And yeah, that's pretty much all I kind of have for that. I'd love to hear what you guys all have to say. Thank you guys for watching so much. Review will be out Monday. And next week I should have another topic. So if you like this video, please hit the like button. Otherwise, I make lots of videos here now. We're going to be doing these, like I say, weekly. I do reviews on occasion every 2 or 3 weeks. Hopefully, if I can break that cycle. So please hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, you can go find my gameplay channel and everything else down in the description below. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.